Welcome back, dude.
House cats.
House cats. We got round 2 of the basket case reunion. I mean, it's a basket case.
Well, you know, I would try to compare this like the reunions like boxing. Right, okay. Round 1 is like the feel out. I'm gonna see what this guy is doing.
Yeah, you're testing.
Yeah, I'm
see if you can get any reads.
Like,
reading
okay,
the room.
I'm reading the room. Okay,
Yeah.
let me because this is a big fight. This is my first one, first championship fight. Let me get the feel.
Sure.
So I'm relating to these ladies. Round 2, okay, I'm gonna show them what I got. Now it's like, okay, I'm gonna go on the attack. Yeah,
it's a 3-round fight.
3-round fight.
It's like a UFC fight.
Yeah, without the title, without the title fight.
Okay, well, what's crazy is like usually there's a reunion. Not 3 reunions.
Part 3, yeah.
So I mean, reality is like this thing went so off the rails.
Yeah.
That like they're not able to get to any of the stuff they've been trying to get to. Like Andy Cohen's like, okay, like come back for another week because we didn't get to anything we were supposed to do because you guys were screaming at each other. There's just so much pent up off-show drama.
Yeah.
You know, we got Heather, Lisa, we got Jen versus everybody, we got Mary. We used to have so much like social media back and forth that went on after the show, and clearly these people didn't hang out after the show.
Not at all.
So there's so much because we're seeing all this emotion that we never saw before.
Well, the world was closed as well.
That's true. So it's pent up. Everyone's sitting at home just going like, what did she say about me?
Yep,
what
on
happened?
social media. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like a lot of hearsay and a lot of rumors.
Correct.
So I think the best way to handle this is we'll just jump into like moments that happen. Since there isn't like any specific like topics, I feel like it's more just like let's just jump into the moments and talk about them because it's just like it was just a spaghetti, like it was just everywhere. There wasn't
I love spaghetti.
Spaghetti. Do you like the red sauce?
I love it. Wait, what's any other kind of sauce you use?
Well, you could do like an olive oil and garlic, or you could do like there's only one sauce.
Did you always hear the rumor of when a girl invites you over and she makes spaghetti, don't eat it?
No.
Oh yeah.
What is that?
It's like, okay, so period. Like when a girl, they'll put blood in the spaghetti.
Why?
In Louisiana. I don't know. It's like some
in Louisiana?
It's
like a southern thing?
It's a room. I don't know. Maybe that's why I got it from.
Okay.
But yeah, she was my mom's, not my mom, my aunt.
Your mom said this?
No, not my mom. My aunts would be like, yo, because they're still in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, don't go to that girl house. You know, she
makes spaghetti every time.
What's she making? I was like, spaghetti. Like the first time, and I think it controls you or something like that.
Oh, it's like it's
like a voodoo.
It's like Louisiana voodoo.
Yeah.
So they'll do that in order to control your mind.
Yeah, like a voodoo doll.
Whoa,
like,
that's some deep South Louisiana voodoo magic right there.
I don't know if it made to these like housewife streets, but
I don't think it made it up north. I really don't think so.
Salt Lake, but again,
although again, they're all in a cult, so who knows what's going on.
All right, shout out to spaghetti though.
Shout out to Italians around the world. Okay, so let's just jump right in. Right in, we got into Mary. And they're talking about the drink water comment, about they smell like hospital. And then we also get into kind of like, these are right next to each other, the whole like Mary being racist or not.
Yeah.
So that was, what do you think? So we basically, the first thing is Jen didn't go to the hospital that day.
Which was weird, though.
So we the whole time thought she had gone to the hospital. Then Mary said, you smell like a hospital. We were trying to kind of see both sides. Now that she didn't go to the hospital that way means that like
Mary was being petty.
Mary was being brutal.
Yeah.
And she didn't even know. She probably thought she went to the hospital. And so she just it was like a way to jab.
Well, Mary was like, I smelled hospital. But did Mary know about Jen's aunt?
Yeah. That was the whole thing. Mary knew that she had been going to the hospital.
Oh.
And so she she thought she went to the hospital. So when she said like, oh, I smell hospital, it's like you were just digging at her. Yeah. You were just saying, ew, I don't want to talk about your gross problems. Yeah. Drink water. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like she's clearly not a very empathetic person.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Sweat glands removal.
Yeah. Then we get into the racist thing.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think that Mary I think what she was saying, she had a point, but she worded it wrong. Right? She was basically saying, like, and this is the first time I ever seen the queen, like, get, like, rattled. Because it was coming in various questions. She was like, oh, and he stayed on her the whole time. And I think it was his questions. Because he would go like, Susan from Oregon said, when you made that, I'm like, what the fuck?
He's like, Susan from Oregon said, and he wouldn't read it.
And he'll read it. He wouldn't read it. He'd just look straight at
Susan from Oregon.
Andy Cohen. He had some questions on his own.
Right, definitely.
So I think the various questions of just had, Mary rattled. I think she me, like, again, she grew up in Salt Lake. It's not too many black people up in Salt
Sure.
Lake. So her black people are what you see on television, you know, movies, rap videos and stuff like that, and the news. So of course she's gonna be rattled. She's gonna be scared. Like, oh shoot, I'm nervous. But again, you can't have that. And then she contradicted herself. She was like, I'm attracted to.
Well, then, yeah, so she's like, I'm not racist, I'm not racist.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm not attracted to black guys at all, which is not racist.
No.
But it is interesting.
It's not a good look.
Especially when she's in the middle of trying to say that, like,
I'm not racist.
I'm not afraid of black guys. It's like, well, what if they're like lighter skinned? It's like, well, I'm cool with those guys. And they're like, okay, this is sounding kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, my husband isn't black. And Andy's like, what? And he's like, well, I mean, he's light. He's not like black.
Yeah.
And they're like, so what is going on here? She's like, anyway, like, you know, she didn't know what to say. I think what happened at the end of the day was she was, I guess, what did they say it? What did they say? No, but what did they say the concept when you're like being racial or racist against your own race? It's like inward racism or something like that. They had like a name for it.
A coon?
No, it's like when you are racist against your own race.
Oh, Uncle Tom?
No.
I'm trying to get to what I say.
No, they had like a politically correct word for it. It was like inward racism. It was like a basically saying like when you're ashamed or racist or anything like that against your own race. I think that they were saying that like she was maybe being like that, or people were asking that question. It seemed like she was kind of generalizing. She was kind of being like, I'm scared of a sketchy guy. And she kind of used that term in order to talk about someone that's sketchy in front of I don't even know. And then she was talking about the white guys that she likes and doesn't like black guys, but her husband's
she was rattled.
Black. And then at the same time, she was like, she was rattled. She was rattled. She was trying to figure out how to get out of it. She couldn't. Because she kept snowballing.
Well, for one, I knew she was rattled because she was like, I said that? Yeah, you did.
He's like, now I got to make up a how to get out of a thing I didn't even know I said.
Yeah.
So
that's, in the heat of the moment, she, like at that, you know, her Mary Gala, she said it and then she's calm now. But I think that she has a black son, a black husband.
Right.
Well, I don't know. And then we
get into that whole thing.
He's like, is she biracial? She was like, no, he's black. He's on the light. She couldn't even say light skin. That's all. Like, girl, you trying to say? I'm at home. Like, girl, he's light skinned. I'm screaming it for her.
And then at the very end, she goes, I like all black men.
Yeah.
And
She had to clarify.
Okay, well, you just spent the last 30 minutes describing how you don't like them.
Yeah.
And now you do like them. Like, what's going on? I think, like you said, she was completely rattled and trying to figure out how to come across it. She was like a little honest, but then like realized honesty is not working out. So I got to kind of go backwards.
But and again, I think, like, let me just step my shoes and my feet into her, you know, her Chanel purse. Like, I think that for her, a woman of her age, and she goes to 7-Eleven and it's some hooded, like, guys in hoodies on.
Yeah.
And so she's going to go to another 7-Eleven. Now, those guys are not going to mess with her.
Of course not.
I mean, it's Mary. Like, they're chilling.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, let's be honest, call a spade a spade. They probably like, hey, ain't you that girl?
Yeah.
No, let's call a spade a spade. No hood guys are hanging out in front of 7-Eleven.
Right.
You see homeless people hanging out in front. So
7-Eleven's not like a big hang.
It's not a big hang. Like, hey, what you want now? Shit, we about to just kick it at this 7-Eleven. You got to get out of here. And the Arab, and he's not gonna let you hang in front of there. You know what I mean?
He's not gonna let you hang.
So I think that she meant like homeless guys or something like that. But to her point, she's gonna go somewhere else because she wants to like not be, you know, it's scary at night for her.
I get it. It was just one of those things where it's like, it didn't look good because she didn't know what to do. She kept burying herself and be like, and actually, no, he's black. No, he's white. No, I like white guys. Actually, never mind. I like, it was just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So then Jen gets kind of exposed on social media for basically like coming after everyone. Like she was making fun of, you know, Whitney and making fun of Heather and Mary and just like assaulting everyone and had nowhere to stand. So like they were also kind of calling her out for basically like every time someone says Mary, she goes off and freaks out. And then Jen's like, no, I don't. No, I don't. Everybody's like, yeah, you lose your mind. So that was like a little side thing. The whole thing about Lisa and Meredith being afraid of Jen, I thought this was funny because Mary admitted to like having never said that. She said, I didn't say that Lisa and Meredith said they were afraid. I just said, I think they were afraid. And that is a little bit of that Mary genius where that's how she got Whitney to lose her mind, was by saying, well, yeah, they're afraid of her. Well, That's her saying she thinks they are, not that they said that. So it's like genius move. We're starting to see behind the curtain a little bit. She's revealing some of her secrets. Of
we already figured that out.
We figured it out, but we also didn't catch the fact that she just changed the language a little bit. I thought she had lied, but she didn't lie. She just kind of gave her opinion on it.
Yeah,
and it was like genius.
And again, but let's call it a spade again. Tweaked is a lie.
Of course.
Okay.
It's a lie.
I don't care how you word.
But she's able to kind of at least have an argument. Be like, no, I just said my opinion, not that they said that to me. Which is like a tiny little lawyer.
But yeah, and then when they tried to expose her, she was like, yo, I said I think. Don't you think that, Heather?
Right.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then they go in. So now it's kind of like, the heat is off her a little bit. She's pointing like, you're scared. Yeah, you can't. So she's not as scared. And then Lisa is screaming her lungs to the top, like shouting to the mountaintops.
Lisa
started
to go.
And then Mary is just like sitting back laughing. It's like a lawyer. Like you said, like reword it like, nah. And now Andy is all on her. And she threw the tension to like, yo, can we turn to the plaintiff, please? And then,
right.
Then Heather is, Heather is, and as soon as you say anything about Lisa coming from Heather, Lisa is firing like a wrecking ball.
It's on.
You know what I mean? So
on.
I love how she strategically like acts Heather.
Which is where we go next.
Yeah.
That's where the battle starts between Lisa and Heather.
Yeah. Like the Lakers versus the Celtics.
100%.
80s.
In the 80s. And listen, man, Lisa, this is a little embarrassing for me.
Okay.
When Lisa said, you guys are weather. And she's like, you're bad weather. You spin the truth and you destroy. And everybody looked at each other like, huh? And was just so embarrassed. Like it was just like, wait, what did Jasmine or what was it? Or
she said, I hope it fall flat.
Yeah, like I hope it does better than the other one you made up. Like it was because her and like Jen and Lisa, she made up a word for them or something. And it was just like, oh, that was embarrassing. That was weird. That felt like they were 5th grade on the playground.
Literally
like weather, spin the truth and destroy weather. It was like some little song she had. It was weird, and everybody looked at each other like
Whitney and Heather spin it.
Up in a tree. You were just kind of like, huh,
girl, this is
so that was a little weird. I felt like Lisa started to, like in my mind, it's Lisa's to lose because Lisa didn't really do anything wrong.
No,
Lisa didn't really, like, you know what I mean? Like everything that's hailed against Lisa is always kind of like the way she did something or that they heard something.
Okay.
But Lisa never really does anything that's overtly puts her in a bad place. Okay. So she's always fighting like Whitney and Heather, but it's never like you did this bad thing. It's always like the way that you act around me. It's always like the way that you said that. So it's really Lisa. Like if Lisa loses control, she looks guilty. But if she maintains control, everyone else looks crazy. That's why I kept in my brain thinking, Lisa, you better chill out. Stop going crazy because the more you lose your mind, the more you look like they're right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that Lisa she has to adapt the CEO mindset.
She lost control.
She lost control. She's not like, girl, you are a boss. You're the boss. Again, you brought up a great point. It's hers to lose.
It's hers to lose.
She lost it.
She lost it this round.
I'm like, God damn. Listen, it was so set up for her to like, yo, she should have adopted Mary's attitude toward things. Spin the truth. Like, it's like, no.
Mary was stone cold the whole time. Even when she was getting grilled, she was just like, smiling.
Well,
this is how it is. So then it kind of kept her, even though she's clearly the most evil villain on the show by a mile.
By a mile.
She didn't look as evil because she kept her calm.
Listen, keep it simple, keep your temple.
Oh, I like that.
That's what I go by.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Don't overcomplicate things. You know they're coming at you. Oh, if it's too much heat, what did Mary do? Oh, put it on someone else. Lisa is so much heat, she comes up with these like nursery rhymes.
Right.
And she starts screaming and finger pointing, and it looked like this woman is crazy. So it's just like, okay, so now what Whitney and Heather are saying, you have that about you, and then you're just like proving like this, you're this crazy psychopath. It's not a good look for the city. So you just, everything you work for on the show, being a boss, all those accolades, Sundance, it doesn't look great in this kind of particular moment. So I was like, great. I wanted Lisa to just chill.
Just chill. She needed to calm down because they were throwing random things at her that like weren't really provable.
Yes.
So it was like, you're just gonna, So then we got Mary. Yeah, Mary's calm the whole time. Lisa goes off on Heather for calling her a bad friend to Meredith. That was a weird thing too. When Heather was talking all that shit about Lisa being a bad friend to Meredith.
Yeah.
That was strange. I didn't even know what that was about, really.
I think that how she didn't take her back, have her back for her in like
with Jen
or something like that.
Understandable. You know? And that's also another reason why Heather and Whitney don't like Lisa, because they're like, Jen's bad. Why are you friends with Jen? Which is, again, is very childish. But I could see that, like, if me and you were friends and there was another person that like did a lot of bad shit to me, and you then got close to that person, I'd be like, yeah, well, that's weird.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I got you.
It's like calling your girlfriend when you guys break up. It's like when your friend starts hitting on your girlfriend when you guys break up. You're like, what are you doing, man? Yeah. You know, like, that's weird. So I get it. Lisa's that was strange. Yeah. Like, why are they all of a sudden getting close when Meredith and Whitney and Heather now have problems with her?
So why are you still again? It goes back to our, I wouldn't say conspiracy, but
there's some dirt.
Some dirt.
Like, why else would you?
Why?
And Jen's really quiet. Jen was quiet when those moments were happening. She would just sit there.
Mm-hmm. Jen was quiet this whole episode.
She had a couple blow-ups, but they weren't
like Lisa.
But she normally would have been a lot more involved.
Yeah, I think, and I gotta give props to Jen. She's keeping it composed for these first two, reunion shows. Mm-hmm. Well, the first one she went out a little bit, but now she's kind of like, she was mellow the whole time. Mm-hmm. But going back to that point, I think that, Whitney and Heather have every right to be mad at Lisa, like you said.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Every right, yeah.
And let's be honest, Lisa is a great friend of Meredith. But if you, like you say, you siding with the enemy, you got to pick a side. You can't play both. You got to, eventually, you can't sit in the middle. You know what I mean? And the fact that Lisa is playing both sides, it's like, you are a boss.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're degrading your power. You're degrading yourself by sticking in the middle. You know what I mean? And Meredith, and by the way, forget those producers.
Yeah.
Because I thought they weren't friends. It was like, you're not my friend. When Meredith said that, I thought she was aiming that towards Lisa. Clearly, they're the best of friends. So I'm kind of
right. That was brutal. Yeah, it's true. That was kind of weird.
Damn.
And now we know that maybe we saw on Meredith's Instagram that she didn't have a picture with Lisa. I think Lisa left.
Yes.
So then we go, oh, okay, that's why she didn't have
the break. Yes.
But and one little thing was random. So everyone's just kind of like emotional. Mary's the only one that's keeping it really together, but everyone's super emotional. Even Meredith, because remember, out of nowhere, she does what you were saying. She goes, anyone who says anything about my family isn't my friend. Out of nowhere, just says that. And her voice is shaky and she's got tears in her eyes. So everyone's just on edge. Like, everyone is, but Mary's not rattled, of course.
Oh, well, she
even when she was getting served by Andy.
She got rattled.
No, I'm saying she wasn't emotional.
Oh, emotional.
You know what I mean? She wasn't letting the emotions get to her. And like, she did for a little bit there with the husband thing.
I know.
But that was crazy too. We'll get to that. That was like,
okay.
But in general, everyone's breaking down.
Because you got to understand, Mary, she's the head, she's the pastor of the church. She's the owner of the church. So she deals with these kind of problems every day. So that's why she's like cool, composed.
Right.
Right.
So
we'll get to that later about her congregation.
We're getting in. Now let's get into the husband. Because we get into the whole, Andy asks about the marriage and the whole thing.
Yeah.
This was a bit of a shit show. But I was also thinking about how funny it was. First of all, she admits that her grandma wanted Robert to marry her, but Robert didn't even know that grandma wanted that.
Yeah.
So while he was married to her, he didn't even know that his own wife wanted him to marry the grandkid,
which is crazy,
which is super crazy. So then they were saying they prayed about it for 2 years, which is really weird. Mm-hmm. But think about this. I was thinking about this. This guy marries a rich old woman.
Yeah.
Okay. Like in his 20s.
Yeah.
Then he stays in his house. All the money stays the same. And one day grandma's gone and the new model comes in. Like, he literally just traded in models. Like, he literally went like, oh, okay, great. I'm still the same age. I'm still just as rich, and I'm still living in the exact same house. Mm-hmm. And one day, I just get a new one that comes in.
Yeah.
Like, Mary just comes in. 20 years younger. Just comes right
18
in.
18 years to be exact.
18 years to be. Like, how funny is that?
I think that's so...
And he's just like, oh, and all right.
Let's not mention, and let's not forget to mention the fact that Mary was already married to someone else.
That was weird, too.
And the fact that she divorced.
She's like, no, I wasn't divorced. But you're 19, and then you got married a year later to Robert.
You
definitely divorced his ass and be like, I'm about to get a bunch of money.
Yeah,
I'm moving in. Yeah, sorry, bud.
And I can't blame her. Like, again, do you want to struggle with happiness, or you want to be a little sad, but you have everything at your expenses?
That's like the money can't buy happiness. Like, you ever seen someone sad on a jet ski?
Bro,
you know what I mean?
you.
Like that whole concept is like, last time I checked,
Chris Brown, and it's
you'd rather be happy, rather be rich and sad than poor and sad.
Bro, listen, Chris Brown's like, would you want to cry on a bus, or you want to cry in a Maybach?
That's what I'm saying. Give me the Maybach. I'm
Give you
crying.
the
I'd rather soak those seats in tears.
Thank you. So again,
Actually, it wouldn't, because it's leather, so it'd beat off.
It beat off. You'd be like, damn, that's what
money does. In my old Corolla, I'm soaking through the sheets.
Yeah.
Or the seats.
That's so funny.
So then, this is a little side weird thing. When she goes, oh, by the way, my cousin is my house cleaner.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, that's your family? And then she's like, well, yeah, we have a good situation. They live in a tiny little apartment that I pay rent for.
Yeah.
And I live in a huge house and they clean it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, this is not going good for you. Like, this is making you sound it's like Cruella de Vil. Like, you're becoming evil. Like, we already thought you were, but now you're like, you say things like they're so like, it's okay. I make my aunt clean my house and I pay for a little tiny shitty apartment. And I live in a palace. It's like, jeez.
I'm glad you brought up Cruella de Vil. It's a new movie coming out with Emma Stone. Shout out.
It looks good.
Now, I get what she's saying. I'd rather have my family clean my house because I trust them over any stranger.
Sure.
But the fact that she had to dig with they live in a tiny apartment. But I think didn't her family ask that question, or Andy said, or because she was trying to she's like, that's not true. That's not true. And I don't know. I think she took it as like they're asking the question, like, well, why would you? She's like, I pay their rent and clean my house, and they live in a tiny apartment. So I think she was like, let's be honest, she doesn't get along with her family.
Let's be honest, she doesn't care about. She doesn't care. She's like, these are just random people I inherited.
Thank you.
I inherited all my grandma's problems.
Yes,
and these are people that I inherited.
I don't even know them.
She's like, because she's like, she cleans my house. Oh, she's also my relative, but we're not like that. We don't talk. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yes,
dark.
Maryville.
Little side thing.
Yeah,
Whitney and Mary, same difference with their husbands. That was a shocker.
Yeah,
their husbands are both 18 years older
apart.
Older than them.
You didn't think.
I thought Mary's grandpa husband was much older. I didn't think he was
18 years, because you remember, you understand.
I know it's more like his mom's age.
Yeah,
but I thought he was at least. I don't remember, but I thought he was maybe like 30 years older or something like that.
So he got 18. So he married her at 19, correct?
No. Oh, when she was 19?
Yeah.
No, I think she was like early 20s, because she said she was previously married at 19 or 20.
Oh, got you.
But it's more just like so interesting where it's like, oh, wow, when you actually think about it, it's not that crazy. It's only weird that he was married to the grandma, not that he is actually grandpa age, because he isn't.
She's like she said, she's attracted to older guys. She'll never date a younger guy again. And
Whitney, her husband and situation, same age difference. Yeah. So it's really just weird that he was married to grandma. That's the weird thing.
We both know that Whitney loves John. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So the fact that, it's not a weird thing.
Whitney loves John, definitely. Now, what we don't know is whether Mary likes Robert at all, because that got
few years
weird. That was weird.
I think some of these questions, but again,
they were setting her up. I mean, definitely.
Yeah.
But remember when she goes, he goes, are you in love with her? And he goes, oh, I think. So that was immediately like rough. Then she goes, well, you can't be married for 22 years and be happy.
Yeah.
And everyone looked around like, yeah, you can. That's the whole point.
Again, I think her words were tied again. I think she meant like, you can't be married for 22 years and not have, some
problems.
Problems, and you're happy the whole time, and
sure, but she didn't say that.
She didn't say that.
So all I can do is judge her on what she said,
right.
And I'm like, that sound. You know what it is? Here's what I think happens. Because then she goes, Robert's amazing. He buys me all my Chanel.
Thank you.
And it was just like, whoa, that's
a young dude can do that.
But I was also like, that's not like.
What?
You don't say, oh, what do I love most about my girlfriend?
Yeah,
is that she buys me stuff. Like I'd be like, that's a problem. right? If you told me your favorite thing about your girlfriend is that she buys you stuff, I'd be like, doesn't sound like a great relationship. Sounds kind of weird.
Well, hold on.
But I will say, I also understand it.
Okay, I was about to say,
I could totally get down with that.
I was about to say, have you seen Chanel
I'm not
bags?
saying it's healthy, but I'm saying I get it.
Okay, Chanel bags will make anyone happy. Okay,
Yes.
It's designer.
It's incredible.
So many like fucking pockets in there. It's like 18. I was like, damn, can I fit? Yo, it's so big. It's so lovely. I love a woman with Chanel bags. So just imagine like her getting like, various Chanel bags. Yes.
Okay, here's a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Could you be the sugar daddy?
Of who? To marry?
No, just to anybody. Like, could you, like, because think about it like
That's
this.
not his money though.
But no, but I'm just curious from a personal level. Let's
Yeah.
say you're a super rich guy.
Okay.
Could you be with a woman who just wants you for your money?
I'm not in that stage of my life to answer that question, but
But let's say you're super rich right now. Let's say you have $100 million and you're either going to marry for love or you're going to marry or you're cool with just getting like, let's say someone who you think's like the hottest person in the world, but they just like you for your money.
My grandfather was a sugar daddy.
Really?
No. But again,
I was like, where's some of that money, dude?
No,
Let's go. Let's party.
I know older guys that like just get off. Like I know women who have sugar daddies.
Oh,
and
for sure.
they're guys. They talk about it. They just want to be talked.
Yeah, guys, the old rich guys are like, whatever. I just want a pretty thing around me.
That's it.
And have a good time.
And
I'll let you spend all my money. But my question to you is, would you be okay with that, or would you have to be for love? Or if you just had,
Damn, I'll be a sugar daddy. Right. Thinking about it. I'll be a sugar daddy. Why not try to make this? Yeah, why not try to help this girl out, live her dreams? I can't take it with me. I'm on the outskirts of life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I got 1 foot on the grave site, and I got 1 foot, between her thighs. But but again, older guys don't even have sex. They just want to talk to her. They just
want to hang out.
Rub her.
They want to go to like a restaurant and have a beautiful woman next to them.
That's it. And then like, oh, he still got it, player. And then she go about her merry ways, and then she go talk to her boyfriend. You know what I mean? So again,
no, for her it's great.
It's great
because it's like you just getting paid, and you don't have to do anything for it.
And to him, it's charity.
Right.
So
it's a beautiful relationship.
It's a beautiful symbolic.
And I feel like they have that similar. Robert, like they don't even sleep in the same bed.
No, for the past few years.
So it's like for him, he's just like, I'm old.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for someone to hang out with every once in a while.
Yeah.
But she's also the keys to my money, so I got to keep that going. Mary's kind of like, I hate this situation. It is what it is. I'm gonna act like we love each other, but deep down, I don't love him. He doesn't love me, but we both got the money because of it, and we're just cool with that.
And again, money brings happiness to some people.
I don't think it brings happiness. I think it creates a soft pad under your happiness.
It's definitely
under your sadness.
It's a big soft blanket.
It's a beautiful satin sheets.
Yeah.
Laying in your sadness.
Yeah. Over, and then you have a Casper mattress underneath that, and then you sleep. So exactly. It's so soft.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So again,
it's like you're sleeping deep,
what you want,
sad, or sleeping on some like hard cheap mattress. Yeah. Sad.
Hell no.
So your happiness is up to you, but money makes it softer.
I like that. You should get some merch on
I know, seriously. Oh yeah, and then man, this was kind of a Mary bash fest because then we get into Mary, the whole calling her congregation poor and stingy. And listen,
we talked about this.
We talked about this in the past. Listen, I grew up in the church.
Go ahead.
So I was waiting for her explanation.
Yeah.
She's talking about Gentiles. No. She had no idea how to like come back from this one. She was just like, I was talking about Gentiles and and they were like, no. You directly said, you guys gave me a bad card for my birthday and you're all poor and stingy. And there's no way around it. You should have just owned it and been like, yeah, I was calling him out. Because there's no way around that.
Do you know they would have killed Mary that episode? You have the racism. You have the grandpa. So she had
she had to make up some weird shit there. Everybody was like wondering what the hell she's talking about.
She had to lie.
Oh man.
That's so funny how they just like called everything out of. I was like, Mary, God damn it.
Like, how did you not think any of these might come up? Like, come up with some good lies.
But again, when the heat is too much on her, she's like, would you call a rumor is a cult? Yeah, it's a cult. Like Mormon. And then wouldn't y'all call it?
Right.
And then Lisa and Heather, yes, like they call everyone like a cult.
And then she's like, well, then Lisa's like, well, no, not me. I'm not like, and now we're off her.
Now we're off. See what I'm saying?
She was getting quartered and she moved.
She moved. Like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like, I got to bob and weave.
Bobbed and weaved.
Yeah.
Not like me. Okay. So, Then they do kind of like the worst apology of all time between Jen and Mary. Remember, Andy was like, well, I mean, okay, do you think that you guys can, just move on and apologize? And then she's like, well, I didn't hear an apology. And she's like, I'm sorry then. Like, it was just the most, it was like two kids. It was like if our mom was like, Malik, Evan, apologize. And I just like stuck my hand out, like, and like shook your hand, but like wouldn't even look at you. That's what it was. It was like, mom forced the kids.
Cause she knows, like, in order to have this peanut butter and jelly sandwich with milk, you gotta apologize.
You gotta apologize.
I don't even like. Do it,
fine.
Evan. I'm sorry for saying you smell like hospital, and you. I called you a grand motherfucker. I'm sorry for, always throwing glasses and always getting aroused and getting my tempers flared up when they mention your name.
He doesn't mean it. He's lying. He doesn't mean it.
How you gonna tell me what I don't mean?
He's not even looking at me. He doesn't deserve it.
How you gonna tell me I'm not
Mom,
sincere?
He doesn't deserve it. No.
I'm sincere.
No, you're not. I can tell you're not.
How you gonna tell me?
Because, 2 days ago you said that my aunt just should have, drank more water.
Was I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. But Mom.
Then that's
basically it.
Yeah. That was a great end scene. That was good. That was
and
good.
if you notice, we switched. We became both characters.
We did?
Yeah, we were like you were Jen and then a little bit of Mary because you were like saying stuff, and then all of a sudden I became Jen and Mary, so we kind of became both of the characters at once, which is deep. I mean, we're deep actors. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Became generic.
And I think that'll stick.
I'll stick generic.
I think that'll stick more than weather. You know what I mean? Because that was
Whitney had the weather.
Yeah, up in a tree. So then we go over to Heather. Yeah. What's going on? Okay, here's what I would say. So we go to this thing where Heather's now talking. Or sorry, not the video of Heather. They go, okay, let's look at Heather back on the whole season. They do the whole thing. How did you feel about that video?
I was sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sad. And again, knowing Heather personally, and when I say personally, she commented underneath our Housecast Instagram page. Just to follow her journey and her transgression is so beautiful. But again, I almost, I could fake cry. I almost really cried.
Felt real.
It felt real. I love her for her just emerging as a person who she was, just being like walking away from the church, and then her daughters. And now we did see a clip of our black friend. She didn't bring. We haven't heard.
It wasn't a current clip. It was the night he disappeared.
We haven't heard from him. We haven't seen a tweet or retweet.
He's gone. He's still in the basement. He's still tied up.
She goes to talk about sex. She's like, listen, talk about kissing. And I tell you want to see what sex is? I walk my daughter down to the dungeon, and I see him, and he's just hanging. Help!
Is someone there? He's got cataracts because it's like he's been in the dark for too long. He can't see when they turn the light on. He's like,
in the light. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. So yeah, R.I.P. But one thing I will say was like Heather's the realest one.
Of course. That's why Rihanna.
We love her.
Yeah.
Rihanna saw it. Heather's the realest human being on the show. She's the most that like. You could relate to. She's the most honest. She's the most real. She's also the most like she's insecure, but she's honest about it. She's really sweet with her kids. Like, in my opinion, as much as Heather went off on this show and she had moments where she wasn't really making any sense, I do feel like she kind of won this one because it was like she's a real person. You know what I mean? She's not trying to put up some front. She's very honest and like she's a recovering basically cult member, and so she's trying to kind of go through all that. So I do feel like Heather's honest and relatable. You know what I mean? Like she's not, I don't even know. She just, you know what I mean? She's just not trying to put up this kind of perfect front. Like, oh, I'm not doing, she's always just like, no, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. I did love though when she was like, I want my kids to have sex with lots of people and party and rage. And then Mary's like, nope. And I was like, Mary, you're just jealous.
I know.
They shut you down early and you're just jealous. You want to go out, you wanted to go bang and you wanted to have a good time, but you got shut down. So you're pissed.
And it goes back to the point where they asked Whitney, who would you have sex with? And if Heather wasn't her cousin, you go with Heather. That's the freak right there.
She's a freak.
That's the freak right there. God damn.
Shocking moment.
Yeah.
Lisa recommended Heather for the show. That's how Heather got into
the show. Yeah.
That was shocking.
I didn't know that either.
Because
For a woman who said she barely knew her.
That is a shocker. So if that's where you're coming from, I get where Heather's kind of pissed because they're going like, wait a second. You recommended me for the show.
Yes.
Then when we get on the show, you act like you have no idea who I am. Mm-hmm. Why? Why did you recommend me?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I would have been pissed too.
Yeah. Just imagine you get on the
real house husbands.
The Real Husbands of Salt Lake.
Yes.
Right? And like, hey, you know who'd be a great addition to the show? Malik. And I get on the show like, what up, Ev? And you're hanging with someone.
Who are you? Like what?
Bro, we do a whole podcast together. It's called Housecast. Yeah, but we did that a long time ago.
Apparently, are you sure?
Yeah.
You're like, yes.
And I got to stay real. I got to stay like, you know what? F Evan. But I also got to stay cool with you at events. Like, oh, okay, play cool. Like we barely speak. And just seeing you and your Meredith all like buddy. Like, bro, what the? I know you. So the fact that Heather stayed composed, rolled with the punches because she's bobbing and weaving. And the fact that Lisa had the audacity to recommend her for the show. And Lisa.
Big timer.
It doesn't make you look good, Lisa.
Lisa, we love you, but
I love you, but
you kind of lost control on this one.
That if she knew that, why you the boss? That's a boss move. Evan, if you recommend me for the show and you ignore me,
I'm the good guy. I brought you in. Like I'm already the king.
Yeah, thank me. I don't have to talk to you. Thank me, because I'm the boss. I'm the CEO.
I gave you the opportunity.
You're not about to play down like, oh no, I didn't. You know what I mean? You're gonna have that boss. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't know why she would do that. That's what's strange to me.
She started off as a boss. Then she wanted to relate. Like you said, you can't relate to your workers. You got to tell them what to do. Right. And she wanted to be relatable. She wanted she getting DMs
with her peasants being like, I don't know, how can I relate to you?
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
So then they're going off, and then we got Heather and Whitney go after Lisa. So now we got Weather ganging up on her.
Yeah.
And I, to be honest with you, I didn't know what was happening. I was kind of lost. They were screaming at each other, and Heather's saying stuff like, you're a bad friend of Meredith, and then you're also this, and you're that, and then Lisa's going, you know what's going on. You don't. And the whole time I was just kind of like, what are they fighting about? It almost just felt like a bunch of off-show drama that had been going on, like a bunch of rumors that Heather had been like, you're not really a good friend, and you're this and that. Didn't it feel like they were screaming at each other, and I didn't even know what was going on? Did you know what was going on? Like, especially when the off-show stuff started, when they're like, let's take a break, and then Lisa and Heather are screaming at each other, and then Whitney jumps in and says stuff, and then did you know what was happening? Like what they were screaming about? I was a little lost.
I was on my phone.
I started to lose track of it. They were screaming at each other, and I was just like,
yeah.
What are they screaming at? Because they never said actual things. They never said, when you did this thing, it was always like, you're this. It was just, it didn't make any sense to me.
I was so mad at the production. Like, what? Who did these seats? Like, when they were walking off, she walked over to Meredith and sat down. I was like, why are you just sitting right next to Meredith?
Because that's for the show. That's the whole bullshit about like they're putting on a fake look of like 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
That was like fake social distancing.
Fake social distancing.
And then they just walk over and they're hanging out, and then Meredith's they're all taking pictures together. Yeah. Like that's all it was.
Slipped it.
That's all it was. If they were being honest, they would have sat everyone next to each other.
Yeah.
But for the show, for the PC, they had to like make it look like we're all socially distanced. But
they still show people sitting right next to each other.
So they didn't even
so they go there's like this is too good. This is
too good. We're willing to take the hit on
exactly. And it's a 3-part series. Should be only one.
Yep.
And we gotta extend it. So let's just show the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And then you got Lisa storming off and crying to John.
That's when I saw, well, first of all, there they go. She's like, where's John? Bring me John for a hug. And then John's just sitting in the room like waiting, like, am I ready for my hug? He's just sitting there, dude.
She was screaming and he was right there in the corner.
He's like, can I have a hug now?
Yeah.
But I will say,
he's fit. John is fit.
John is fit. But Lisa, like, she was struggling, man. I actually felt bad for her a little bit because I felt like she lost control. She freaked out. But at the same time, when she was crying in the back with John, I did feel like whatever she's going through right now, like, it's real. She's not just being mean or anything. She was like struggling because she had that like real trying not to cry. And Lisa doesn't cry up until this very moment.
Even when they talk about her kids, she
was able to swallow it down. But now she's really losing it. What I think is going on, I bet she's like super stressed with work.
Yeah.
And she wasn't ready for like how much pressure the show was going to put on her personally. Because usually if you're a celebrity or you're a person in the social world, you grow into that. You start small, you grow with followers and you grow with fans and you put out more work. But she went from 0 to like on television. And not just normal television, but the type of television where people are like commenting on your life. So I have a feeling that it's like hitting her really hard, and she's also still trying to run all the businesses and everything. My thought is that she's overwhelmed. She's just like stressed because the way she was reacting was just so not normal for her. For me, it felt like she was stressed, like she was just freaking out, and she was just overworked.
Okay, that's
the vibe I got.
That's a great way to look at that. Okay, I didn't know
because it just felt like, why are you going so crazy on everybody? Why are you snapping so easily? You know what I mean? She was triggered as opposed to just kind of going. And then especially when they were off camera and they were doing the fight, she was like screaming.
Top of her lungs.
And everybody was just like, whoa, chill. So, you know what I mean? Like, I think she's just going through a lot. It felt like that. It didn't feel like it was the problems that were the problems. It felt like whatever's happening in life is the problem.
That's a fair assumption.
I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, everyone just lost their minds at the end. She storms off, get me John. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get into this next week. It looks like Lisa left.
She didn't leave.
Because, maybe hopefully she came back. But
she came back.
We got the husbands next week.
Oh, yeah, we got to hear. We
got the
John.
boys. And of course, Seth is over Skype. I mean, we know Robert's going to be over Skype.
Yeah.
He's not the most physically fit guy in the world. So I think
I'm happy about that.
Probably like the filming and all that stuff. It was probably a lot for him. But of course, Seth's gone.
But also, this is in LA though, so you can't travel. It's Salt Lake.
Yeah, but Coach is there.
Yeah, but Coach only there because
the Big H is there.
Right,
oh shit, this thing's
come on. You already know Big Heather.
The Big H is there.
Anytime Heather,
and he's like,
Coach sees what I see. Okay, and Heather, he was like, just one night.
There's a lot of pent up. There's 30 years.
30 years.
Of practice that have not been used. That's a lot of days in the gym.
Come on, man.
No game time.
Yep. And we know, no game time. And we know Seth is in goddamn Cleveland. So,
but we saw, so there was 1, 2. Oh, we also saw Whitney's husband.
Yeah, all the husbands there except, Robert.
Well, it's like half and half because
it's 3 and 2. Because Lisa,
we don't see Lisa in that. But
John is there.
But they left. They walked out.
Oh, well,
so we don't see if they're actually going to be there for the next one.
Well, let's just count who's physically present.
Half and half.
Yeah, okay.
So Robert and Seth aren't there.
Okay. And
Coach and Whitney's husband. What's his name again? I don't know.
John,
it doesn't matter.
Whatever.
But yeah, Whitney's husband and Coach are there.
Okay.
So it's half and half. We'll see. If Lisa comes back, obviously, he'll be there. But be interesting.
Yeah.
Be interesting. It'll be good. And then we got to decide what's next, man. We got to talk about what's next because there's a lot of options.
I need the house cats to like send in like where we should go.
We've gotten some recommendations. We might not even go with the franchise. We might do something completely different. So bring in some. We're talking about some options, but if you guys have any ideas or want us to do something, send in some options and some ideas. I think that
because we have a lot of time on our hands.
This is all I do all year. It's just this podcast. So it's like, send us in. We'll watch any show you want all week long. Just let us know. But we'll see you next week for the finale.
House cats.
Let's go. Bye.